All right, thank you. All right, settle down. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. All right, all right. Calm down, you incredible carbon-based life forms. Welcome back to the Late Night Landing. I'm your host, Max Zeeks, and I'm trying to understand more about your planet, your most beloved extinct residents, the dinosaurs. Yeah, anybody fans of dinosaurs? Yeah. All right. Well, my research is confusing because everything I learn about them sounds like a problem, not a creature. So the Triceratops had 3 horns on its head. They were perfectly evolved to open stubborn jars of pickles. Now the pterodactyl was essentially a flying reptile, meaning it was the world's most terrifying pigeon. Right? Also, saw the fossil of a Stegosaurus. Stegosaurus, yeah. Apparently, those giant plates on its backs were used for temperature regulation. Yeah, that's right, a giant, terrifying lizard that was very concerned about being perfectly comfortable. Yeah. All right, and then there's the brontosaurus, right? Brontosaurus, a creature so large, so slow, it took 4 hours just to finish a single selfie. Yep. And the biggest mystery of all, the Tyrannosaurus Rex. They had those massive jaws, those hilariously tiny arms. It had the strength to rip apart a Jeep, but it couldn't even zip up its own coat. Yeah, crazy. Yeah. Now, the dinosaurs, they were all wiped out by this giant space rock. Is that right? Giant space rock? And you humans, you still haven't moved on. Yeah. You put them in museums. You put them in theme parks. Even made a whole TV show about being stuck in a world with them. Oh, and that reminds me, that's our guest tonight. Stay tuned. So this planet loves danger so much it invented a whole genre called Jurassic Park, right? All right. But speaking of prehistoric perils, our first guest tonight is a man who not only survived a land full of them, but actually lived there. He's an actor. And he starred as Will Marshall on the classic Earth program Land of the Lost. Wesley Eure. He's here tonight, folks, with us. Yep, he's here in the flesh. We're going to ask him a lot of questions. We're going to get to the bottom of a lot of things. All right? Thanks for joining us tonight. Stick around. Okay. Back to the Late Night Landing. All right, for my first guest, he might have traveled further than me, but he was once lost, but now found. It's Mr. Wesley Eure. Welcome, Wesley, to the program.
Thank you so much for having me, Max. I appreciate it.
Yeah, this is great. So good to see you. You look a little different because I'm normally used to seeing you being beamed 9,000 light years to my planet Digby on a very small screen. So great to see you here.
Thank you. And I also used to have lots more hair and a lot less wrinkles. So
Oh,
I do
oh,
look a little different.
oh, no, I don't think so. You're looking great, sir. Well, you know what? Looking back at your time as Will Marshall on Land of the Lost, is there a specific episode or behind the scenes memory that stands out to you the most?
When Kathy, who played Holly, my sister on the show, Kathy Coleman, we do a lot of shows together, and so many people will ask, "Did we ever get home?" That's the biggest question for 3 seasons, and the answer is yes. And at the end of the very first season, David Gerald, who if you're a sci-fi writer like Star Trek, if you like Star Trek, David Gerald wrote the Tribbles, Trouble with Tribbles. Anyway, so they wrote this episode called The Circle, and it was written just in case there wasn't a second season. And in this episode, there's a time doorway, a mist doorway, and there's a loop, and we keep seeing ourselves, my father, my sister, and I going, Daddy, do something, and we fall over the waterfall, and it keeps going, and I go to Enoch, the Altrusian, I say, Enoch, you mean we can go home? He goes, no, Will Marshall, you must go home. 3 must leave, so 3 may enter. And so what happens is that My dad and Holly and I walk through the mist doorway, and we go right back to Earth. But instantly, our doppelgangers come into the land of the lost, and it starts all over again. And it's one of my favorite episodes. And it was such great sci-fi, especially. I mean, this was a Saturday morning show, but it wasn't written to be like a kids show. David Gerrold said he told his sci-fi writers that we're going to write a sci-fi show that airs on Saturday morning, not a Saturday morning sci-fi show. And that's why the sci-fi holds up to this day.
That's it, Wesley. I was just going to say that it's not a kid show. Even though many kids for generations have enjoyed the show, I think it's wrote as an adult show. That's why it transcends this time. It's so great.
It does, it is amazing. I mean, the special effects, of course, look corny now, but back in the day, they were state of the art, and it was budgeted as a Saturday morning show. So they didn't have I think Sid Croft once told me, I think they had 35,000 to 50,000 per episode, and that's nothing. I mean, even back in the 70s.
Absolutely, that's a lot. All right, well, after starring in shows like Land of the Lost and Days of Our Lives, you transitioned into hosting kid-friendly game shows such as Finders Keepers. Now, what's the difference between a scripted show and more of your hosting gigs? And how did that help further your career?
Boy, I always wanted to host a game show. I'm a game show fanatic, and I got to be a regular on a lot of the old game shows back in the 70s and 80s and 90s, like Password and Chain Reaction and the Match Game, all the old timers. But no, this was for Nickelodeon. I did 2 seasons with Nickelodeon, and it was wonderful because it all happens right there. It's live. I mean, it's filmed live. It's not live, but it was great. We shot in Philadelphia. We shot 5 shows a day, which is a full week. So we had 3 shows in the morning, and a whole bunch of kids on a school bus would come in. And then they would leave after we shot 3 shows. We'd have lunch, and then a whole bunch of new kids would come in for the last 2 shows. And it was so much fun, and it was exciting. And, I kept going, find it. And that was my line. And I loved it. I really, really, truly loved it.
It sounds like that line seared into your brain. I know. You made a lot of kids happy with that.
Max, I got to tell you something.
Yeah.
I've got another friend named Max who I really adore, from Max and Emmy from Dragon Tales.
Oh, from Dragon Tales? Oh my, yes, Dragon Tales. You know what? You're the co-creator of Dragon Tales.
I'm the developer and one of the co-creators of it. And Max and Emmy were the boy and girl from Dragon Tales that went into the dragon world. And so you've got a great name there, Max.
Oh, I appreciate that. Well, you know what? Speaking of Dragon Tales, what do you think about the show's themes and characters that has made it endure for new generations?
Wow, they had some amazing writers and animators and actors, voice actors and producers. I was just involved in the beginning of it and then let it go. And they took it and ran and created something so magical. It ran for almost 10 years on PBS. And I love kids will come up to kids. Now they're young adults. And they come up to my table and stuff, and we sing the theme song, Dragon Tales, it's almost time for Dragon Tales. Come along, take my hand, let's all go to Dragonland. And it's amazing how that show continues to inspire kids, and I love it because Dragon Tales dealt with some pretty amazing issues for its time. Again, like Land of the Lost, it didn't talk down to kids. I know it was a cartoon show, and it was, dragons and fantasy and animation, but it dealt with such topics as death and, hate and bullying and all sorts of stuff. And I applaud them so much, the writers and the producers, for doing that because, it takes a lot of courage. And, of course, it was PBS, and PBS, demands a certain high quality.
Absolutely, absolutely. Universal themes that'll never, ever go out of style. That's why this stuff sticks around. And you know what? I'm talking to Wesley Eure tonight here on the program, and he's been a great guest so far. So let's see what he's got in store for us next. He already sang for us. That's amazing. So what advice would you give to an inspiring actors or hosts or creators who are just starting out in the entertainment industry today?
Boy, the number one advice would be to really love it, because it's not an easy business, but to really love it, because there can be a huge pitfalls and huge rewards. But the great thing about today, when I was starting out, we just had the networks, and you had to sell a show to a network. It's the only way to get aired. But today, the options for people on the internet, YouTube, and creating you can do your own animation with your computer and stuff, and create your own show, and you can publish your own books, and that wasn't available when I first started. So this is a whole, like a wild, wild west of entertainment, and people that are starting today are really lucky because the options are unlimited.
Absolutely. I mean, if they'll give me my own YouTube channel, anything's possible.
and it's a wonderful channel, Max. I love
So,
it. So
thank you. Thank you.
you're a very good host, Max. You're amazing.
Wow, well, thank you. I try. Thank you. But is there anything else you'd like to share or any final thoughts you have to our audience before we wrap up?
Wow. Just be grateful. Just live in gratitude, and look around you and look at your world, and find the things in your world that you love and that you're grateful for. We all have things that we don't like. We all have things we wish we were. We wish we had more. We wish. Remember, I wish with all my heart to fly with dragons in a land apart. But look around and see what you have, and find the joy in what you have at this very moment.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself. And just freshly here on Earth and learning all about humankind, gratitude is a big thing. So,
well, Max, let me ask you a question. What have you learned? What's the biggest lesson you've learned on this planet?
What? Well, I mean, let's see. This is a reversal of roles that was not scripted. Let's see.
Hey.
Well, what?
Yeah, what is it, Max? You come from your world, and you've been here on Earth, and you've observed us. What did you learn? What can you share with us?
Oh, you know what? I love that everybody is so different and unique in their own way. No two people are alike. And that's just amazing to me, because where I'm from, hate to say it, but most of us kind of look like me. And we're not all much different. But humans that are so unique and diverse, I'm learning about them all the time. And wow, it's an amazing world here. It really is.
Oh, well, welcome to our planet, and we're really, really happy you're here.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wesley. I so enjoyed interviewing you, and I wish you the best of luck in your endeavors. Now, if people want to find out more about you, and you got a website or something like that they can...
I do. Just go to wesleyure.com.
Okay, and then all your appearances and stuff are there, so they can maybe come and see you at a Comic-Con?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thanks again for joining me tonight on the Late Night Landing. See you later.
Take care.